The life of an escrow. This might be the most boring YouTube video I've ever put out, but it's vitally important that you watch this if you're a new real estate investor so you understand the flow of opening up escrow all the way to close of escrow so you can close more deals and get paid. Hey, what's going on, clever investors? Sperber here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is a place where we talk about breaking free of the rat race, using predominantly real estate investing as the vehicle to take back your life financially and live life on your own terms. So if you're brand new to my channel, welcome. I'm glad you're here. This is going to be kind of a boring video, but if you're a new real estate investor, it's going to be vitally important that you understand this, because when I first got into real estate, nobody taught me what escrow was. Nobody told me what a closing agent was or what the difference. Like some states, did you know some states you use an attorney to close a deal? Some states use a title or escrow agent to close a deal. I didn't know that. I didn't know even what escrow was. So in this video, we're going to walk through the life of an escrow so you at least have an understanding of the flow, so that way you can close more deals and get paid. Now, if you're more advanced, stick with me. You will learn some good nuggets in this video, but you know, if you just want to smash the like button, drop me a comment, and maybe share this with some newbie friends of yours, I'd appreciate that. All right, so when you're new, how does escrow work? Step number one is we got to find an investor-friendly closing agent. What does that mean? That means somebody that's used to working with investors. In your state, you need to find out if you close with an attorney or you close with an escrow agent. The best way to do that is just ask other investors where they're closing deals. Do they have a recommendation for an investor-friendly closing agent? That means they understand wholesaling, they understand assignments, they understand double closes, maybe they understand creative finance like subject to transactions and wraparound mortgages and all-inclusive contract for deeds or AITDs, agreement for sales, like all those creative things. You don't want to just go to like a closing agent where like realtors take their retail clients, because they're not going to understand the investing side of things. Also, with an investor-friendly closing agent, they're going to give you a discounted rate on some of your fees, all right? And you can actually, the more deals you close at one title company or one closing agent, the better your fee structure is. So you want to find somebody that you vibe with, build a relationship with them. And I really mean like go out of your way to build a relationship with them. Your closing agent is one of the most important people in your deal. So you want to take very good care of them, because they're going to help you with the paperwork. They're going to help you with title insurance. They're going to help you with all the creative stuff, discounting fees, all that stuff. So take care of them. All right, now once you find an investor-friendly closing agent, how does the process work? So step number one is you got to open escrow. And there's certain things that you need to open escrow. You need a fully executed purchase and sale agreement, either on the buy side or if you're selling it on the sell side. You need your earnest money deposit. All right, the earnest money is what makes your contract valid. A contract, a written contract, does not become valid until you deposit some form of what's called consideration. Sometimes it's $10, $100, $1,000. It could be $50,000 or more. But once you go to your closing agent and say, here's my executed contract, here's my earnest money deposit, your earnest money deposit, okay? You now can officially open escrow. Now, if you're doing something more on the retail side of things, like you're an agent, you're going to want a copy of your listing agreement. If it's listed with an agent, you're going to want HOA information, new lender information if you're buying it retail. Those are all more the traditional things. But for an investor, we just literally show up with a contract, an earnest money deposit, boom, we're opening up escrow. All right? Now, the clock starts ticking. Normally when you open escrow, if you're wholesaling the deal, you got to hurry up and go find a cash buyer so that way you can flip that deal to the cash buyer before you actually have to close. If you're going to close it and maybe rehab the property, you got to go get your lending funds all dialed in and all that stuff. So that starts the clock, and however long in your contract until you say you're going to close, that's when you have to close by. If you don't close on the closing date, what could happen is the seller that you have the house under contract with can force you out of the deal because you're not abiding by the contract terms. All right, they may extend it, but they may not. You don't want to lose your earnest money deposit. So the clock starts ticking when you open escrow. All right, now it's time for step number 2. We got to process the escrow. All right, so behind the scenes, this is what's happening. You're going to deposit the escrow deposit, earnest money, into escrow account. The escrow officer is going to order preliminary title reports from the title department. Escrow is then going to request a payoff or assumption information from the homeowners association if there's an HOA, but they're basically going to go to the homeowner's lender and start requesting all of the payoffs and all of these things. And now it's time to move to step number 3, which is the title examination. All right, property and parties are researched and examined by somebody that sits in the position of a title examiner. All right, the preliminary title report is going to get typed up and it's going to get sent to the escrow officer, to any agents involved, to the buyers and sellers of the transaction. So this is all happening behind the scenes, by the way. Then it moves on to the next step, which is preparation for closing the escrow. Now that we have the preliminary title report, it's been received by everybody. The escrow officer is going to review it and make sure there are no surprises like tax liens, judgments, unknown liens, any weird blips in the records or discrepancies in legal descriptions or delinquent taxes, access problems, any weird things that could cloud title. The escrow officer is going to review and make sure there's nothing weird jumping out. Escrow is then going to inform all of the parties of the transaction if any additional information is needed, documentation is needed to clear any surprises revealed by the preliminary title report. Then what happens next is escrow is going to follow up on the receipt of the following if needed per the purchase contract. So they're going to follow up and see if we need a termite report, a home protection plan, any warranties, buyer hazards insurance. If there's new loan information or old loan information, they might request payoff information from the old loan, repair bills, receipts, anything that was agreed upon that would be done before close of escrow. They're going to make sure that all of those loan documents, all of those other supporting documents are going to get received. And once they do, the escrow officer is going to work the file to reflect closing and then advise the agents, the buyers, the sellers of whatever funds are needed for closing. So they're going to basically prep what's called a HUD statement. All right, that's coming up here in a second. But they're going to prep all the math to make sure they know what is needed to end up closing this deal. They're going to set up closing appointments for the buyers and the sellers to come into escrow. Now they can send mobile notaries to you, and like for us, when I'm closing a lot of deals every single month, we're no longer going to title. They are sending documents and mobile notary stuff to us. We sign and do everything and ship it back to them. But maybe in the beginning you want to go down there. You want to sit with your escrow officer. You want to read all of the documents. An escrow package is pretty big. So you're going to have like hundreds of documents that you're going to read through. Your first time, you might want to read all of it. The second time, you read a lot less. By the 50th time, you don't read any of it. You just sign everything and keep it moving. But your escrow officer is going to inform all the parties that we need to sign these documents. You got to have a valid government-issued picture ID, which is your driver's license or your passport. They're going to inform the buyers to make sure that they bring their cashier's checks or they wire their funds into escrow, so that way escrow has everything for the next step, which is getting ready to close the deal. Now it's time for the next stage, which is execution of documents. The buyer, the seller, everybody involved is going to meet with the escrow officer, and they're going to sign all of the documents. Okay? The lender is then going to fund the deal, and that money's going to go into escrow. Escrow is essentially a bank account, right? It's holding all of the funds from all of the parties, and they're like an independent third party that just, transacts the transaction. After everybody's signed, they've executed every necessary document, the money's been received, what's going to happen is escrow is going to return the loan package to the new lender for review and to get funding. If there's no lending, it's a cash deal. They're already going to have the money in escrow. Maybe they're dealing with a hard money lender, but all of the loan communication will be done by the escrow officer. The lender will then fund the loan, the wire will hit escrow, and it'll sit there for processing. Which leads us to one of our last steps, which is recording everything. All right, now it's going into public record. after escrow receives all of the funds needed, they've ascertained that the conditions are met, the original documents are recorded, everything is signed, sealed, delivered to the city, and escrow is going to notify the agents, the buyers, the sellers that the deed has recorded. And boom, baby, you now officially own that property. Everybody's going to make arrangements for you, the new buyer, or whoever the new buyer is, to get the keys, the garage door openers, any access information, and they're also going to disperse funds to the seller and to the old lender to make sure everything gets cleared and paid off and everybody gets their money. So basically all disbursements are made in accordance with the settlement statement. Now, the very last thing that needs to happen is everybody needs to get all of the policies that they purchased issued out to them. So the purchaser will receive the owner's title insurance policy from the title company, and the new lender, if there is one in the transaction, will receive an ALTA loan policy from the title company. And boom, baby, all of these things are happening behind the scenes. Guess what? You don't have to do any of this. You just go find a deal, lock it up, and open escrow, deposit your earnest deposit, and then kick back and wait for all of this stuff to happen behind the scenes. But it's important for you to know that your escrow officer, your closing agent, is working their freaking tail off doing all of these things behind the scenes to help you get the deal to the finish line and make sure that there's no clouded title or liens or any weird things involved in the transaction that could come back to hurt you later. So now you know. You now have more information about title than you probably will ever want to know. Trust me, don't go to your next dinner party or date and start telling them everything you learned about title and escrow, because you will put them to sleep. But if you're making money, and us real estate investors, we make a lot of money, it pays to know how these processes work. So hopefully you got something from this. Do me a favor. If this was valuable to you, smash the like button. Maybe drop me a comment down below. What other processes or concepts do you want to learn about on this channel? And I will hit them up in a future video. Appreciate the recommendations. And also, don't forget to look down in the description down below. I have tons of free gifts, tons of free resources. If you want to be a successful real estate investor, check out my Deal Automator software. It's in a link down in the description. It's how I run my business. Check out some of my courses down there. I have courses on how to do creative finance and how to do wholesaling and rehabbing and all the fun stuff. It's down in the description down below. And yeah, that's all I have for you in this one. Until next time, I'm out of here. Take care, comb your hair. Peace, we out.